right to left then towards the Steve Fletcher stand. A great Bournemouth legend was Steve Fletcher, brought to this club by Tony when he was manager here actually, and Spurs in control of the possession with Archie Gray. First touch goes out of play. Just a little bit surprised he hasn't been given more football, Archie Gray. I saw him play at Chelsea last season in the Cup for Leeds. He was astonishing. Yeah, he's a good player. You know, I think that they tell me his younger brother's even better. But the Gray family, what a lot of genes that is, football genes that's gone through different generations, John. His dad was Andy, his granddad was Frankie, great uncle was Eddie, who was one of my first ever heroes in the game of football. Eddie Gray, what a player. A fantastic he was. Player. Now here's Johnson for Tottenham Hotspur. He started on the left hand side, Kulishevsky on the right, and that's a free kick conceded in the heart of midfield by Papsaran. They're very, very quick to take it. Here's Kirkesh wearing gloves in then towards Justin Kluivert. Couldn't make hay there, and Tottenham Hotspur smother him and will get it away now from the heart of the midfield, where it's whipped long, looking for Kulishevsky, who's come away to this near side. That's the Tottenham left. He was well guarded there by the tall, fair head figure of Dean Hussein, the Amsterdam-born 6'6" centre half, and Bournemouth cleared away. Kulishevsky's form important. Yeah, he's been fabulous. He's been absolutely fantastic. I think he's one of those players, John. He's got so much energy. You know, he actually ignites the team with his energy. Never mind the fact that he's a top player as well. He's just non-stop. Johnson will tickle around the corner looking for Udogi to get up in support, and it's cleared away at the back for Bournemouth by Ilya Zubanu, who's missed just one league game last season. He hasn't missed a minute this season in the league. Very consistent. Gentleman next to me watching with binoculars on and some sort of headgear. I don't know whether or not he's protecting his ears against my noise. No, he's listening to you, John. Well, if he was protecting his ears against my noise, he'd be very sensible. If he's listening to me, he wouldn't be. It's a throw to me. By the way, if you think Tony is caning me a lot, he has done since I was about 15 years of age. It has never stopped. It played back now then towards Dragushin. Now he finds Ben Davis. Davis, straight ball to the left-hand side of the penalty area, where it's held up by Solanke. 6 goals this season, back in the England fold. Very important for Tottenham, as is Maddison. Solanke on this left-hand touch, and big, strong man holding off the challenge there. And it was an unfair challenge in the end, deemed by the referee. There was a foul given against Tyler Adams in their free kick for Spurs. Referee just pointing that it should be taken in a wider position. And hard work for Tyler Adams and Ryan Christie in there in that midfield area. Christie's missed the one game, banned from the game against Brighton and Hove Albion when they lost here by 2-1. Tottenham have possession with Yves Bissouma, who's got stronger and stronger as a Tottenham player. A little bit shaky when he first moved from Brighton for a big fee, of course. Arrives on the edge of the penalty area towards the left-hand side, gets the cross in. Davis was up in support. Bournemouth can get it away, and now this is what they do so well. They counter at pace. Evan Nielsen, he was pulled back by Davis. That'll be a yellow card, and Bournemouth were away, and they had Kluivert on the right-hand side. Cynical challenge, free kick. Yeah, it was brilliant. They win the ball back in their own half, or in their own box really, and they play so quickly through the pitch, John, and they get runners. They play quickly forward and they run quickly forward. Tottenham have had all the ball, but again, like you say, they looked really, really dangerous when they broke then. Let's go to Craven Cottage. Fulham against Brighton, and Aaron Paul.
Half-time, Fulham 1, Brighton 0. Quick thinking from Alex Iwobi sees Fulham ahead here. Iwobi able to nip in as Brighton keeper Verbruggen's attempt to play out to Carlos Baliba was misplaced. Fulham looked for the second. Iwobi denied by Eagle as he ran through minutes later. But Brighton have forced Bernd Leno and some really good saves. João Pedro with the first. Simon Adingra should have scored from point-blank range. Great save from the Fulham keeper. Crucially, though, Brighton behind at the break. Fulham 1, Brighton 0.
That's on Sports Extra. 5 Live Premier League commentary at 3 o'clock on Saturday comes from Sellers Park. Palace against the champions Manchester City, whose championship title defence, I should say, is creaking a little bit back to winning form at the weekend. 5:30 we cross to Old Trafford for Manchester United against Nottingham Forest. Football all the way here, more Premier League games than anywhere else on your transistor radio. Transistor radio, do they still have? You still have them in your house, don't you?
Yeah, we certainly did. We never had a telly.
Kirkers away. And here's Ben Davis. So, because you didn't have a telly, you used to talk a lot. Things never really change.
Yeah, and no one takes any notice. As you said, no, it doesn't change.
Here's Madison into the gap. That's a good ball. Kulishevsky's got a yard on the defender, gets the shot away, but it thuds straight into the chest of Kepa, and the ball has gone.
That's a worry. On the turnover then, the gap between the full-back and the centre half, John, there was a massive gap there, and it was so easy for Tottenham to play through that. That's very, very unlike Bournemouth.
Cleared away by Zabani, and Bournemouth have it on their left-hand side. Nice little spin by Tavernier, but he's spun into trouble, lost possession, pulled back on his man. Tall figure in there of Sarr. Seems to have been around in the game forever and ever. He's still only 22 years of age. Tall Senegalese international. Bournemouth pick it up again. Kluivert towards Semenya on the right-hand side. He's just darted away from his marker Bissouma, and he nudges the ball to the left-hand touch and halfway inside the Tottenham half. Tavernier, low ball in blocked by Archie Gray, and Tottenham will get it away here with Udogie. They've got two good young fullbacks. Gray is 18, Udogie is 22. Gray, such a versatile player as well, can play midfield. Udogie almost plays like a left-side midfield player, the Italian international. Here's Maddison, so much the creator for Spurs, and the captain's armband on his left arm. Bissouma now advances into the Bournemouth half. 0-0 on 5 Live, and a low ball in by Udogie. Looks for the run here of Kulishevsky across the goal, and stabbed up by Kirkesh, who clears it away. 6 minutes gone, no goals on 5 Live. And there'll be a free kick here.
That's twice they've got round the back of Bournemouth's defence, John, and played the ball across the face of the goal, and there was no Tottenham player in between the goals. You know, that's where you score your goals. If you're going to get crosses in, then you've got to get people in between the goals. And that again, if you'd have had someone coming from midfield a little bit earlier, it's a tap-in, John.
Free kick here to Bournemouth, and it'll be taken by Kepa. He's played 8 of the last 10 games for them in the league. Man on loan from Chelsea, was out at Real last season. It's a long ball up as well towards Evan Nielsen, who's done ever so well since he played at the start of the season here. He's played the last 12 games, got stronger and stronger, but Tottenham have it. Space in the centre of midfield for Maddison to arc a ball forward, and Solanke from the defender's mistake gets into the penalty area and lifts it over the bar as Zabani got back at him and did just enough, having made the initial error.
Yeah, 1-2 pleased with his defending against Zabani, but having said that, you know, Solanke should score, I think, or at least he should hit the target from there.
Zabani did enough, did he here? Turned just at the end to get back at him and put him off.
Oh, he's just lifted it. Yeah, his head's up, lifts it over the bar. You'd expect him to hit the target from there, John.
He struggled, didn't he, when he first came to Bournemouth?
Yeah. There was lots of question marks about him. His last season was his best season, obviously.
Bournemouth look for Evan Nielsen, dropping back towards the halfway line, goes down onto the ground, no free kick. Bissouma has it for Spurs at 0-0. Here's Maddison, 2 or 3 yards of space, turns, sandy haired, white boots, in towards Solanke, coming deep, spins away, short sleeve shirt, gloves on, out then towards Kulishevsky. Kulishevsky finds the run here of Gray, and Gray pushes back towards the right hand side of the midfield. Maddison spinning, takes the return from Kulishevsky, well guarded by Kirkes, and he will get it away. If you can get through, however you pick up pictures of players from back in the day, then I do encourage you to get some pictures of Eddie Gray and his pomp. The 1970 FA Cup final leads Chelsea. The first game he was absolutely sensational, and then the second game they put Chopper Harris on him and he didn't last long. Semenya.
Yeah. He'd have been put in jail now.
Chopper.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have lasted long, would he? I think part of this thing about set pieces, Tony, you were talking about it with Ellie before the game, is defenders don't defend as physically at set pieces like they used to do. It's crucial, isn't it?
Totally agree with you there, John.
Maybe they're not allowed to.
Yeah, or they don't practice it. I don't know.
Away it goes by Fraser Forster, kicks out towards ground, the far side, and it's going to be a throw in then to Tottenham Hotspur. Coming with such a higgledy-piggledy form guide, really. Just don't know what you're going to get for them. Draw at home to Fulham, drew against Roma, a fantastic win at Manchester City on the back of a home defeat by Ipswich, and Bournemouth are just the same really. I mean, look at their recent form, beaten away at Brentford, beaten here by Brighton, then they go and have that big win against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they're on the attack now. That's a good challenge though, really good tackle to win it back by Dragushin, and now Tottenham can break, and it's Solanke making great strides through the middle, veers to his left hand side, now gets into the penalty, guarded by two. The block comes in by Zabani, and I think that was a great chance. It's probably, he'll reflect on later on, that he should have done better with.
He wasn't too comfortable going on his left side. He was trying to get back on his right side, John, to be honest. The two centre halves have started very, very sloppy for me from Bournemouth. You know, they are certainly not up to pace with what Tottenham are providing at the moment.
No Senesi back there, don't forget, went off late on in that victory at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Zabani alongside Hussein, who's just his third league start, the first since the end of September, as Maddison takes this corner kick. A hush comes over the ground, 0-0 on 5 Live. In comes that corner kick. It's well defended back there, plopped back into the box by the header of Archie Gray. Now Bournemouth will look to counter. Tavernier has it, head down, good burst of pace. It's Kluivert, I beg your pardon, Kluivert on this right hand side, and in the end he slipped. Gray got back with searing pace to get there.
Yeah, Gray played the ball. It wasn't for the crowd shouting for a free kick. It wasn't. It was a great challenge.
Got back so quickly, didn't he? Gray. Now Semenya in towards Kluivert. Dragushin was with him this time. The referee does give a free kick against Dragushin, who nibbled at the ball, probably wasn't there to be won from his body position. He's given away a free kick.
Yeah, not so sure. For me, that's a 50-50 challenge.
Well, Tony made a fair few of those in his career, including a spell down here, of course, at Bournemouth. And then you got your first crack as a manager here at Bournemouth.
Yeah, Harry signed me in 86, 87, and I played for him, coached, came back and coached with them, and then managed them. The club's changed. Well, it's just a completely different club now, John.
Free kick taken by Kluivert into the box, half volleyed away, back up to this right-hand touchline, 0-0. Tavernier then gets it back to his left foot, loops it across towards Semenya on the far side, and it goes out of play. It also says here, and I never gave away a free kick in any of those tackles. Signed Tony. These were different in those days, Tone, weren't they?
Yeah. You know, I came out of the house today, John, and it was raining, and you know, night under floodlights, wet. Remember the pitches and everything else. You'd lick your lips. You knew it'd be a competition, a game of challenge. The game's changed. Has it changed for the better? Well, that's the supporters' view. Be interesting to see what they think. Supporters our age, is there many around?
Now here's Basuma, very athletic now. Pitches, of course, much improved. Sports science, that's a huge development in the game as well. There have been positives in the development of this wonderful game that has taken us to so many places, and we have so many memories. And Dragushin chips too long, and away and out of play it goes for a goal kick. So I don't like people who are in the game slagging it off, Tone, to be honest, because
now the game's John, I've been from 15 all the way through. The game has been absolutely fantastic to me, to my family, and to the memories that I've got. What it's enabled me to do as an individual has just been wonderful. It's the best game in the world, John, and this is the best country in the world for football, in my opinion.
Away by Kepa all the way through, and Udogie has it for Spurs, 5 yards outside his own penalty. It rolls in towards Ben Davis. Not everyone's cup of tea, Ben Davis.
No, he's done a great job.
340 games for the club.
Yeah, he's done a great job. They signed him from Swansea, yeah, John?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Some 10 years ago. Cuts it into Maddison. That's a lovely angle. First and ball off to Udogie, and Udogie's got Johnson running down the left-hand side. 0-0. Tottenham pressing. Low ball into the middle, cut out by Zabani, and it should be cleared away now for Bournemouth on this right-hand side of their defence. Zabani, who's come all the way out here, will have to trot back into a central defensive position as Semenya heads on now towards Evan Nielsen to run Dragushin, and he stabs a quick ball back to Forster that Sees him hurtling along the dead ball line to slice a clearance away. It wasn't an easy ball for Forster to deal with. That Dragusin gave too much welly on it, and he now clears poorly away and comes across into the middle, headed away by Gray from the Christie cross. And Bournemouth have a little spell here. Now towards the left touchline, 0-0. Tavernier on it. Fulham lead Brighton in the other game in the Premier League in this first midweek series of fixtures this season. Been good stuff, hasn't it, this week? Christie away then towards Semenya on this right hand side, wearing 24, former Bristol City player, short sleeve shirt, good to see. In then towards Christie, who's having a fine season, and Smith low, dangerous cross. Dragusin got a touch on it, then it bounced off his teammate and nearly came through to Clive. Was it in there?
Yeah.
No, it's Evan Nielsen, just cleared away for a corner.
Good save from the keeper.
Big block by Fraser Forster to deny Evan Nielsen, who had to react very quickly. Good goalkeeping.
Just trying to see if Tottenham are man marking or whether they're zonal. Yeah, they look as though they're man marking. A couple of zonal players.
Dragusin, he's on the edge of the penalty area with Zabani there. Big Hussein is there as well. Got a Tottenham man marker on him. Semenya's covered by a man marker as well as Tavernier swings towards that back post. It's in! Davison! Well, they might have man marked him, but they didn't do it very well. And he rushed towards the far post. Beyond the far post he went. He headed it back across goal into the bottom corner. 1-0 Bournemouth.
He was by himself, John. Whoever was marking him has just switched off completely. We'll see it in the replay now, but whether it's the pre-arranged, set play from the training ground, whether they blocked someone and then he's got round by himself. Let's have a look.
He peels away beyond the far. No one went with him at all.
Who's the 6?
Lost by Radu Dragusin.
Yeah. He's let him run. He's just dropped into the middle of the box. He's not followed him at all.
Dragusin in the side really because Van der Ven and Romero are both missing. And there have been question marks about his defending already this season. That was poor from him though.
That was shocking, John. It's not poor. Was it 5-6 yards off him from when the corner was taken to when he headed it in?
Well, his last goal came on loan with Roma last season against Frosinone. And Tottenham Hotspur have conceded away from home, and therein lies the danger, because they haven't won any of their last 14 Premier League away games when they have conceded. And if this is a team that has genuine ambitions of a top 4 place, they have to come to grounds like this, I think, and get something. And that's with all due respect to Bournemouth, who've been terrific this season. And Tottenham on the attack. Maddison trying to worm his way through. Got a deflection off the defender back. This on the far side from us. I think it was little Adam Smith who got the touch on it. It's a corner kick here then for Spurs.
What was that stat, John? How many games?
14. Last 14 Premier League away games when they conceded, they've not won.
Yeah, that's not a good stat.
And the corner then for Tottenham from that right hand side. A glancing header. Oh goodness me, that's just wide. Flung himself at it, Solanke, advancing towards the corner taker.
Again, the marking there was really, really poor. And just shaking his head.
Well,
they've started quite well as well, Tottenham. I thought they looked the team on the front foot, John.
Maybe they don't coach players as they used to, for the length they used to in set pieces. Is Kulishevsky lifts the shot over from just inside the penalty area. Ironic cheers from the Bournemouth fans. Could that be a difference? I don't think the defending is anything like it. I think the attacking football is fantastic, but the defending isn't.
No, I think the majority of coaching now is with the ball and what you do with the ball, and that's a positive in some ways. But the game's played with the ball and without the ball. And the teams that usually win leagues are the teams that keep the most clean sheets as well as scoring lots of goals.
High ball out from Kepa to Evan Nielsen, who's not the tallest. He's 6 foot, but he's up against taller defenders today. Now Kulusevski rolls an angle past to Gray halfway inside that Bournemouth half. Bournemouth leading by a goal to nil. 19 minutes played on 5 Live. Tottenham into the box. Solanke pushing from left to right out towards the far touchline. Now it comes back then towards Sarr. Finds to his left-hand side, 10 yards away. Maddison out to Gray with his orange boots. And the way he just bent his arms there as he was running.
Yeah.
Goodness me, that was like Eddie, wasn't it? Eddie used to run like that. Gosh, that's a flashback. Here's Bissouma. Strong challenge on him as he tried to get the pass away. Bournemouth have it. Now here's Cliver. He dances beyond Bissouma. He's pulled him back. The referee says go on. He might revisit it and give Bissouma a yellow card. Christie into the box looking for Evan Nilsson. Dragosin's defending wasn't convincing. Pushed it straight out to the edge of the penalty area. Low cross back in by Tavernier was dangerous, but it goes all the way through for a goal kick. Tottenham are nervy at the back, and there is a yellow card for Bissouma for that pull.
Again, it's all, you know, it's all turnover from possession, and Bournemouth are away. And they do look dangerous when they break, John, don't they?
Well, this would be a third terrific scalp for them here. Manchester City beaten 2-1, Arsenal beaten here by 2-0. Well, a fourth if you like, because they will include the derby match against Southampton, which they won 3-1 as a scalp as well. 1-0 then to Bournemouth with 21 minutes gone on 5 Live. Here's Dragosin. And it cost £25 million, and they brought him in. Romanian international. It was a Romanian record, that transfer record, that. Tottenham have it. Left hand side. 1-0 down. Just inside the Bournemouth half. Johnson couldn't keep control. Semenya with his hair tied back behind him and the yellowy boots or cream colour boots down below us. Lost possession. And it's going to be a throw to Tottenham Hotspur. Right down below us. We're no more, what, about 50-60 feet from yes. This near touchline. Throw taken by Udogi. Played out of play. 50-60 feet, that's the sort of same distance as the first touch from the Bristol Rovers player. I had to get a dig in, didn't I? I had to get one in.
Leave us alone, John.
We were from other sides of the city, so to speak.
Oh, good touch.
Smith back into his own half. It's only that Bristol rivalry really, because you still look for the result of the other team. Tottenham have it inside their own half, and when I was growing up, older listeners will remember Warboys and Bannister at Bristol Rovers, and Archie Stevens was a player, wasn't he? And
yeah. Dave Williams.
Yeah. George
Williams, Keith Curle, Ian Holloway.
Good players. Dave Williams when he was manager, and Tony was there, and they had a physio called Wayne Jones, and they used to rip it out of me every time I used to go out to the training ground.
Yeah, good days, John, good days.
Free kick here for Spurs. Deep inside their own half, training by a goal to nil.
I think there's goals in this game for Tottenham. I really do. I think the way the game has been set up and the way Tottenham play, I think they'll concede chances, but I think Tottenham will create chances, and it's whether they take those chances. Maddison needs to get on the ball a little bit further up the field, where he's creating opportunities and chances in that final third, John, because he has got the ability to change games.
It's a free kick for Bournemouth. A challenge on Kirkes just inside his own half. Well, Spurs did spend a lot of money in the transfer market over the last couple of windows, and the fans want them to spend more, and no doubt Ange Postecoglou will have a list of players, not for January I wouldn't think, as Bournemouth along the ball has gone 50, 60 yards, 70 yards from the free kick, caught the wind straight out of play. I think they'll strengthen again in the summer. He will have a list, but it was interesting to hear you talking beforehand, John, about the number of people you have to go through now as a manager to get those deals over the line. It's not just a conversation with the chairman anymore.
Well, everybody's concerned with stats, so they've got people, you know, the scouting networks, and the system that they use now is very, very complicated. I think Brighton and Brentford and clubs like that, I think Bournemouth have done well with their recruitment, although, John, in a million years, I never ever thought I'd see a Bournemouth side pay £40 million for a player. It's just unbelievable, you know, that, and you know, this is Bournemouth. So yeah, I can understand people saying that Tottenham need to spend and they need to spend big money, because that is a big club. This isn't a big club, but it's a club. I'm telling you, John, the training ground that they're building is absolutely fantastic. It's a club on the up.
1-0 they lead. Tottenham Hotspur crying out for return to the glory days. They're defending now, and it bounces away off Evan Nielsen's shoulder. Basuma was there. Now Udogie running out of defence with the ball at his feet. Basuma with a white sort of wrist bandage on his left wrist. Might be a plaster cast, actually. I doubt it will be. Out towards the far side. Kulishevsky, good challenge on him by Kirkes. Throw in taken very quickly. Headed away by Zabani for Bournemouth. Left-hand side of his own penalty. A 1-0 Bournemouth lead. And now Tavernier, head down, loses possession. He tried to get it out of defence. Basuma square to his left. Madison heavy touch, poor touch. Someone's in there a little bit sluggishly though. Johnson now for Tottenham, and that's a poor challenge on Madison. A little bit of retribution there, I feel. Christie it was, and it's a poor one that caught Madison. Now it wasn't retribution because Christie, you can see the apology is genuine. He was off balance actually as he made the challenge. Let's go to Aaron Paul at Craven Cottage.
Fulham 1, Brighton 0. All action start this second half. Brighton have been pushing forward, but in recent minutes it is Fulham who have done all the attacking. Harry Wilson going close with a volley that went just narrowly wide, and Wilson absolutely taken out in the box. The referee looking up, Peter Banks, and saying no penalty, not even going to check it with VAR, but the Cottage is very much awake. Fulham 1, Brighton 0.
Tottenham Hotspur trailing 1-0, have possession. Ben Davis, left-footed, slightly backward of square. Dragoshin in the centre circle. He too has a sort of wrist bandage on his left wrist in support of Sarge just ahead of him. Then to the right-hand touchline, Kulishevsky down the line to Archie Gray, back to goal, facing out towards that far touchline, far corner from me, towards the Steve Fletcher stand end of the ground. Gray manoeuvring his body on the ball, jinking this way and that, breaks into the edge of the penalty area. Kulishevsky tries to dart in the box. It's away by Kirkes, up towards Evan Nielsen. No free kick. Bournemouth fans think he was pushed there. Tottenham on the attack again. Little layoff by Kulishevsky into the box, and Kirkes got back and he's beaten his own goalkeeper, beaten the far post. It's going to be a corner goal. I don't know whether Kepa got a touch on that. If he did, it was vital because it was speeding towards the own goal. Let's have a look. Might have got a fingertip on it. Corner ball anyway. Would have been a corner. A little bit of anxiety from the player who is really much improved. He's started all 14 of their league games this season. Only 21, the Hungarian international. It's going to be a corner kick then to Tottenham Hotspur, trailing 1-0. Taken by Madison off the left-hand side. Big, powerful header away that was by Semenyo at the back for Bournemouth. And Tottenham look away towards the right-hand side. So halfway inside the Bournemouth half now. Another with short-sleeve shirt on. And Dragoshin finds the centre circle. And Tottenham playing possession football in there, but trailing by a goal to 0. There's something missing about their game, isn't there?
Yeah, like I say, they've got good control of it in the middle of the pitch, John. But it's in that final third. You know, they need that special bit of play to open Bournemouth up.
Here's Madison. To his right-hand side is Basuma into the edge of the penalty area. Kulishevsky is there. Size to his left-hand side. Tried to thread it through the eye of a needle. Kirkes won it back on the ground and now clears to Tavernier. There was a gap to his right-hand side. He plays left though. And Evan Nielsen now hairs down the far side for Bournemouth. Trying to get back at him is Dragoshin. To the edge of the D. Semenya's there in support. Had a little bit of space there. Turns to his left. Gets the shot away. Davis blocks. Came off his back. Spins to the far side on 5 Live with Bournemouth leading Tottenham by a goal to 0 and settling for a corner.
Semenya done well. He's had a great season so far. When you think they picked him up from Bristol City, a small club.
£10 million they paid to that small club. I'll get you back. Let's go to Craven Cottage, Aaron Paul.
Equaliser, Fulham 1, Brighton 1, and it is Carlos Believer back in the starting 11 this evening, who's just drilled in from around the edge of the area. Really well worked attack by Brighton, popping the ball forward. Great work by João Pedro just to nestle it back, and Believer, one touch into the back of the net, bang, Brighton level. Fulham 1, Brighton 1.
Cross from Cliver. Tottenham think the ball was out of play, and it was. Word on Belabor. Have you seen much of him? Brighton fans think he'll be the next sort of 70, 80 million pound central midfielder to come out of the club like Caicedo did, like Bissouma did.
You know them better than me, John. What do you think?
I think he's a terrific player. They think he's a terrific player as well. They think he's better than the man just on the ball there, Bissouma.
Yes.
To his right hand side, Gray has it. Caicedo's playing good football now for Chelsea. I was at St Mary's last night.
Yeah,
goodness me, they play well.
Yeah, very much so.
Southampton have got problems, haven't they?
Yes. Yes.
Very delicately said from a man who lives down the road. No.
See, I think Maddison's got to be looking again. He's giving the ball away. He's got to be up further up pitch for me.
Here's Evan Nielsen. Maddison gave it away quite deep into the penalty. Yes, a chance. It's two. Flag goes up. Won't count. Rattled into the back of the net by Tavernier. Evan Nielsen held, then released, but Tavernier had gone a fraction too early. Looked offside to me, and what?
Yeah.
Stays 1-0 Bournemouth.
Again, Maddison gives the ball away in the middle of the pitch. 3 passes, John. They're creating another opportunity, Bournemouth.
Mentioned Chelsea because Tottenham have them at the weekend, and the way they played yesterday and the way Chelsea scoring goals for fun, this Tottenham defence as it is tonight will struggle badly against them, because Bournemouth are creating a lot of danger on the counter, aren't they?
And everything is on the counter attack. Everything. They're quite happy to sit in there, John, sit really deep, and then break. They get the first pass off, and from that first pass being set up, they get runners. They do. If you don't get the setup, then you can't get the runners. And the lad up front has done smashing. He's held the ball up, brought other people into play, and then that third pass, fourth pass, it goes forward, or they're crossing, or they're having a shot at goal.
Brought in the summer from Porto, Evan Nielsen, Brazilian international, came through in the summer, played in the Copa America for them. He wasn't in the recent squad. A few eyebrows raised when they paid the 31 million for him, but to come in to replace Solanke. But he's done well, Evan Nielsen, for Bournemouth this season. And there are 1 or 2 big names in there, Clivert, because of his family connection, I guess, but it isn't a team of superstar names, nor egos.
Not at all. But you've seen it, John, for the last half an hour. They work tremendously hard for one another, and they've got some ability.
And it remains a remarkable story, the Bournemouth story. And while they move on, they haven't forgotten their past. Bournemouth, Simon Francis, who was a player here for many, many a year, is the assistant first team technical director. As the Bill Foley revolution picks up pace, the owner, but Maddison here picking up pace for Tottenham, slots it through the middle, looking for the figure of Solanke, well dealt with by Zabani, who cleared it away. Udogie went through a challenge there on Semenyo, no free kick given. Bournemouth win it back. Semenyo a little step over, then he lifts the head, looks forward. He's, I think, gained in upper body strength, Semenyo, over the last couple of years. More difficult to shrug off the ball. That's a foul. Maddison's tripped his man. Tottenham 1-0 down, 32 minutes played on 5 Live. Would you agree with me? Semenyo seemed to have bulked up a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's been a handful in the games that I've watched. He's been a real handful. But they've got, as you say, they've got good balance, John. They've got people in midfield who are quite happy to work their socks off and just back play up. They're very, very simple passes. They keep the ball well, but they run. They're a team that's got loads and loads of energy.
1-0, Bournemouth lead. Kulishevsky on the ball, allowed to turn on the far side. No real danger at the moment, but Sarr now stretching those legs. No, he's bundled into Kirkes. And a free kick given against the tall Senegal international. Linesman flagging on the far side, and a free kick given. Linesman's flag, Simon Long I think it is, on that far side. Anyway, it's a free kick for Bournemouth, and Kepa will take it if he keeps a second clean sheet only this season. Bournemouth win the game, and it'll be another stutter to Tottenham's season as the back four drop off for this long clearance by the goalkeeper. Archie Gray's missed it in the air. Tavernier won't get there though, and the ball trickles away and out of play for a throw right down by that far corner flag in front of the Tottenham fans, who are subdued, many of them standing, wearing heavy coats. Not that cold here tonight, but it is dampish, I was promised by a man who lives not far from here, just down the road actually, that it would be glorious sunshine. But another Pulis promise that doesn't come to anything.
Oh, John, you are.
Here we go. Tottenham over the halfway line. It's Solanke being chased. Good challenge on him by Hussein. Coming tonight, got the goal, done well. Throw to Tottenham. Quickly taken. Saw a little flick off. Once again, Hussein was there, but the ball comes out to Udogie. And now Bissouma glides away from Semenya and has possession with Johnson on that left-hand side. Chooses not to use him, and then, well, that's curious. He's ballooned the ball out of play. He's seen ghosts on the far side. There was no one out. There was no one within 15 yards. Throw. And Ange Postecoglou turns around with his padded coat, grimaces, a little bit of a chew, and then folds his arms across his chest and ruminates slowly.
The one thing I have picked up, John, is when Tottenham are in possession, behind their possession, they're very, very loose. And I think when you're playing against teams, especially in the Premier League, who counter-attack so well, I don't think that can happen. I think you've got to really, really be strong behind the ball. Yeah, play your football and do what you're good at, and they are good at going forward, Tottenham at times. But behind them, you have got to be organised. You can't allow teams to break on you. And Bournemouth have done it 3 or 4 times already, John.
Contrasting managers down here. Don't get to know managers like you used to be able to do. Can't get close to them like you used to be able to. So your knowledge of them depends really on snatches of interviews conducted with them and a couple of chats here and there. But when you speak to Andoni Iraola, he's very vibrant, very passionate, and very open and up when he speaks to you. Now, Ange is no less passionate about the game, but he's quieter, more reflective. Here's Maddison for Tottenham Hotspur, away on the right-hand side.
Did you say an Australian was quiet?
Relatively so. Sale gets the cross in. How about that? That's a second curious ball by a Tottenham player. The previous one went left to right. There was not a Tottenham player within 15 yards. This one came right to left. Not a Tottenham player within 15 yards.
No, I know.
Not too sure what they're seeing out there. I'm not too sure what Ange Postecoglou thinks he's seeing out there. It was largely misquoted the quote was taken out of context when he says he wins things in his second year. Much was made of it. He has won 3 titles in the last 6 years, 21 trophies, and all won a couple of titles of Celtic, and won the league with Yokohama in Japan back in 2019.
Yeah, the Premiership is a bit different than those leagues, John.
A lot of expectation on a Tottenham manager, always has been. Here's Maddison, looks for Kulusevski, pass dropped in short, but Kirkes has given it away. So Kulusevski inside the penalty, a big chance. Went to drive the cross into the middle. Solanke was in the Johnson at the far post, deflected away corner. Big chance that for Tottenham. Isn't
it disappointing? You see how much money the players are earning today, and certain players are so one-footed, John. If he takes that onto his right foot then and smashes it across the face of the goal, he could score. Just reluctant to use it.
He will take this corner with that trusty left foot. In it comes. Good header away then by Hussein. He's having a strong game at the back for Bournemouth. It's run out of play. Can't quite see who that was who ran it out of play. Might have been Ryan Christie. It's going to be a throw then to Tottenham right down by the corner flag. Udogie will go and take it. They trail by a goal to 0. 7 minutes to go. 38 minutes on the electronic scoreboard in the far corner of the ground. And it's going to be a throw to be taken then in towards Johnson. We've seen very little of him. Remarkable transformation in this ground. They turned it. Turned it around.
Yeah, I played when they was facing the other way, John, or facing across where we're looking now.
You used to play a lot of your football facing the wrong way, didn't you? Going to be a corner, is this to Tottenham? Maddison will take it on the left-hand side. The old stands, wooden stands, weren't they?
Yeah.
Being caught, much changed. Corner kick taken short. Ball was rolling when he took it. Some might say it's fussy, but them's the rules. Players know it. Maddison puts it back in the corner quadrant. And on 5 Live, Tottenham with 6 minutes to go in the half-time trail 1-0. And it comes to the near post. There's a little touch on there by the first man at the near post, Johnson. Bournemouth get it away.
Johnson's missed it completely. Here they go again.
On the halfway line here. Cliver. Strong challenge on him by Udogie, who won the ball back. Didn't really position his body there to protect the ball enough, Cliver. Gave it away. And Basuma now for Tottenham. Finds Kulishevsky on the left-hand side. Cross was just deflected, I think, off the head of Zabani. And Bournemouth looked to break, this time on the left-hand side. The pass by Kirkes, though, was behind Tavernier. Tavernier had too much pace on it, and a throw to Tottenham in front of their travelling fans.
They've been really disappointing in the final third, John, haven't they?
Spurs.
Yeah.
Tottenham, no trophy since 2008. 16 long years. 11 clubs have won a trophy in the top flight since then, in all competitions, I hasten to add. Hans Postecoglou shaking his head down below me. He's had some wonderful days. I mean, they're having a very decent run in the Europa League, and beating Karabag and Ferencváros away. He's at Alkmaar at home, then they had the slip up at Galatasaray. That goal slip against Roma, the 2-2 draw there. So work to be done. Big one against Rangers away to Manchester United at home in the League Cup before Christmas. The cup competitions, they've got Southampton away in the league and Liverpool at home, and they played the ball dangerously back to Forster then from Dragusin. And Forster got it away, and he's made one good save in the game as well. Here's Maddison, ball bounces kindly to him in the centre circle, tries to curl the ball out towards the far side. Solanke's given chase, he's got there ahead of his man now, Hussein. Waits for support to arrive. Kulishevsky is there, takes it in step of his left foot back again towards Solanke. Square to Maddison now, turns away from goal. Spurs trailing 1-0 on 5 Live. Sarr, plenty of rotation in that midfield. Sarr's now come to the left. Maddison square of him into Kulishevsky, pinged it to Kulishevsky, bounced off him, and it's going to be cleared away by Bournemouth up towards Evan Nielsen, giving Davis a chase, bundling into a free kick.
Davis has played that with all the experience that he's gained over the years. Just waited for the touch and then fell over and touched the ball as well. Got the free kick. I'll tell you one thing, we haven't mentioned Johnson once. He's not been in the game at all.
It's another bad pass from a Tottenham midfielder, Basuma this time, trying to angle it wide to the left hand side. Straight at the play it goes. Activity down there on the Bournemouth bench. With him he's got Steve Fletcher, 19 years here. Tommy Elphick, what did he have, 4 years here. Sean Cooper, 7 years I think was here. Big Bournemouth experience. Here's Semenyo away to the left hand side, promising for Bournemouth. Tavernier, Kirkes on the overlap. Tavernier goes for goal, wasteful that because he had opportunities right and left. And now Tottenham can maybe break off this with Kulishevsky crossing the halfway line on the far side. Tavernier got back at him, trapped back very well to atone for his error, but Kulishevsky rolls inside him, looks for a ball through to Maddison. Bournemouth going clear, hit Solanke, they think it hit him on the arm, no free kick given. And now Zabani will clear, and again looks for Evan Nielsen to run. He's clipped the heels of Davis. So says the Tottenham defender, no free kick given. Evan Nielsen to the edge of the penalty area. Davis had a look at the referee, might have clipped his own heels there then. Evan Nielsen to the right corner of the penalty area. Here's Adam Smith. What a servant he has been for Bournemouth with his 389 games. Has possession on the right hand side. 33 years of age, but ageless. Practically Adam Smith. Been up and been down and been up again with Bournemouth, who have possession. Kirkes halfway inside the Tottenham half left hand side, leading 1-0, takes it back again, goes inside the fullback, crosses into the middle, and Forster's made a really good save to deny Tavernier's header. Fraser Forster's an enormous man. What is he, 6'7", and he just to drop that left hand on it and block the header, otherwise it would have been 2-0.
Yeah, that was a great save. Great play from Bournemouth. They switch the play, they go down the left hand side, good cross. I had Tav at Middlesbrough. He's a great lad again. He's got the identity of what the Bournemouth manager wants. You know, he works his socks off. It's a good header. And Foster's big hand, big mitten has come out and managed to keep it out.
Massive man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fraser Forster in that goal. He was out for a long time last season with a broken foot. Came into the league side for the first time this season with a draw against Fulham. Stayed in tonight. Vicario out there, his throw taken by Udogi. Poor throw that really. He gave Solanke work to do. Solanke did it well, got it back to Udogie. Solanke through inside left, finds Johnson, goes down. There's not a free kick there. Smith's challenge was fair, and Smith gesticulates at him to say, come on, get up. We're into the last 30 seconds of the first 45. Bournemouth lead by 1-0. And though Tottenham, I think, have had a lot of the ball, Tone, Bournemouth have looked the more decisive team attacking.
Tottenham have been disappointed in lots of ways, especially in the final third. You know, they haven't really used the quality that they've got on the football pitch. You know, we haven't seen a Tottenham player go. You know, Johnson hasn't touched it, hasn't taken anybody on, hasn't created anything. The people who are running forward and causing more problems are the team in black and red.
1 minute of added time, and the players, the people also have been calling for Son to be dropped out of the side. Might need to reflect on that. Dropped to the bench tonight.
He'll be coming on at half time.
Certainly write him off at your peril. That's the message from the Tottenham manager, who says Son is far from done. Zabani, right side centre back now. Sees a gap, goes forward, centre half with his socks rolled down, takes the return from Semenya to the dead ball line, tries to force a corner off Davis, who got his body position right, blocked it, and will now look to clear it away. Davis with a little chip towards Solanke, held it up well. Johnson into Maddison, good flick wide to Johnson, who veers into the centre of the field now for Tottenham, and then that's a terrible ball between Sarr and Gray. Gave Sarr work to do, and Tottenham were fortunate to get away with possession. Here's Gray now crossing the halfway line, 2 seconds left of the minute of stoppage time. We've had it now. Gray advances slowly. This will be the last attack of the half, and will go no further, because the referee, Simon Hooper, who's had a very decent first half, the referee by the way, blows his whistle. And thanks to the goal by Dean Hussein, the header for Tottenham Hotspur for Bournemouth from the set piece, it's the Cherries who lead Spurs, Tony, 1-0 at the break.
Yeah, Spurs have been very pedantic in respect of playing through the pitch. They're slow, they haven't got it wide, they haven't had any person in the team who's taken, you know, any player out of the game to create any opportunities. Bournemouth have sat back and they've counter-attacked. That's what they do. And again today they played a half of football where they've really created the best chances.
Bournemouth, the best team in the highest team in the south and southwest at the moment, of course, but then they never won the Gloucestershire Professional Cup. Bristol City dominated that tournament. Anyway, back to you, Ellie.
I've got my gold medal.
You have to say, Tony, don't you, that all the time we spent talking about defending set pieces and scoring from corners, and then a goal in that. I mean, just for people who missed it, just describe exactly what Bournemouth did right and what Tottenham did wrong there.
Well, the centre half just completely let him run, and the ball was hit at the back post. And how many? 2 yards, 3 yards, John? He was free and just headed it into the back corner. It's another goal that's come from a set play. Tottenham are man-for-man marking. So, you know, we used to have a rule at the clubs I'd play. If your man scored a goal, then you paid a fine that went into the kitty, the Donna Louise Fund, which was an hospice just down the bottom of the road. And we'd take the money off the players to put into that fund. That soon livened them up and made sure that they stayed with their men. But it was really poor defending. Ball to the back post, and the lad's 2-3 yards all by himself. Great head of mind, and Bournemouth deserve it over the first half.
Do they just look like they want this a bit more, Bournemouth? I mean, it's an easy thing to say, because I mean every footballer who goes out and plays in a game wants to win. But does Tottenham do they look a bit flat, a bit uncertain?
The point I made was when they're in good possessions, Tottenham, they don't defend behind the ball very well. You know, they've got the Bournemouth players are drifting off, and if they get a set up, the next pass is usually to a player who's quite open, and then they can take the ball down the pitch. So Tottenham are getting done on the counter-attack because of that. In the final third, when they've got the ball, they've not got it wide, they've not taken anybody on, and they've not got crosses into the box. You know, Solanke's done okay without any service. The two wide players for me have done, you know, they're out there really to create, to take people on. You know, they're leg beaters. You've got to take people out of the game, and they've got the quality to do that, but they haven't done it first half. And I'm sure, I don't know Ange very well, but I'm sure he's in there and he'll liven a few up.
You mentioned the chances, and Jonathan said that, you know, we're going to probably almost certainly see Son come on in the second half. Will he be the man who makes the difference?
I like Son. I think he's been a terrific player for Tottenham. Yeah, you know, he's... People say he's gone off a little bit and this, that and the other. Well, if he comes on, I'm sure he'll make a difference. I wouldn't hesitate in bringing him on straight away.
Great stuff, Tony. Jonathan, thank you very much indeed for the moment. Second half commentary to come from the Vitality Stadium with Tony Pulis and Jonathan Pearce. Let's get an update on our game, which is live on 5 Sports Extra at the moment at Craven Cottage. Fulham against Brighton. Aaron Paul.
Just ticking over to 76 minutes gone here on the banks of the Thames. Fulham 1, Brighton 1. Ellie, join me. It was just a really comical moment between referee Peter Banks and Carlos Baliba. Baliba and João Pedro playing a 1-2, trying to get an attack going for Brighton. Baliba then taking out the referee by clattering into him. The two sets of players then arguing between themselves as to who should get the advantage. The referee just going to back to an original spot and going for the drop balls. Fulham tried to pop the ball into the middle. Marco Silva, he's made 2 changes to his 11, one of them in force. Reece Nelson hobbling off with an injury. Adama Traore on in his place. Andreas Pereira has also come into the Fulham midfield. Tariq Lamptey has come on for Brighton. They've shifted from a back 5 to a back 4. Jean-Paul Van Hecke, the man to make way. And I'll tell you what, the Brighton centre-half absolutely fuming with his manager that he was withdrawn from the action, smashing things up in the dugout. Really interesting scenes, actually, that we were watching on our monitor. Reece Nelson, before he went off, had an opportunity, carved it out himself, took far too long to pull the trigger. He was robbed by Van Hecke. Otherwise, we've had really limited opportunity. Just a really good contest played in driving rain. Fulham 1, Brighton 1.
Thank you very much, Aaron. So commentary on that on Sports Extra right now. We will be live in Wellington in New Zealand ahead of the second test between New Zealand and England. Live here on 5 Live Sport after the news with Dan Maudsley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Evening, let me bring you up to date with what's happening in California. So just over an hour ago, when we were breaking news of this, the tsunami warning there after this earthquake had just been lifted. A strong 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck there off the northern coast of the state. That tsunami warning, which was initially issued along the coast of both northern California and southern Oregon, as I say, lifted around an hour ago. The earthquake's epicenter hit closest to the city of Ferndale in northern California. It is looking like there isn't mercifully widespread damage from this earthquake. One resident in Ferndale, though, did describe to the BBC how the inside of the building she was in now looks like, in her words, a bomb has gone off. Multiple aftershocks have been reported since the initial earthquake, which struck about 2 hours ago. Seismologist Maureen Long has been speaking to our US partners, CBS News.
They are forecasting that there is a 40% chance of an aftershock larger than about a magnitude 5 or 5.5. So certainly it's something that we need to be aware of. Because this earthquake happened beneath the ocean and not directly under any population centers, it's certainly the most likely scenario is that any aftershocks will be smaller than the initial shock.
Well, back to this side of the Atlantic, the French President Emmanuel Macron has rejected calls to resign after the toppling of his Prime Minister threw the country into political chaos. In a national address tonight, he said he would name Michel Barnier's replacement in the coming days and claimed the MPs who had toppled him in a confidence vote were hoping to force an early presidential election. Our Europe correspondent Mark Lowen listened to the speech.
President Macron sounding quite defensive at times and also issuing an appeal for unity. He said that there has been an anti-Republican front of the far left and the far right that brought down Michel Barnier's government. He said, I know people want to point the finger at me, but he said, I will stay the full course of my mandate to 2027, despite those calling for me to resign.
And the National Crime Agency says the UK, France and Germany have taken part in a major investigation targeting a people smuggling network believed to be moving people across the Channel. A series of raids in Germany yesterday against an Iraqi organised crime group resulted in 13 arrests. More than 20 boats and engines were seized, along with life jackets and cash.
The Football Daily Podcast
on BBC Sounds.
Ruben Amorim, hello, welcome to the Football Daily.
People always believe that the next guy is the right guy. We have to play better, to win games, and to be, I think, really honest with the supporters.
When I had this invitation, I felt that I had to do this. Maybe it's destiny.
You have to know a little bit the history of Manchester United. I believe that we are going to succeed. I feel the confidence of people, and that is really important at this stage.
The Football Daily Podcast.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Eleanor Oldroyd.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Live Premier League action on this Thursday night and straight to Craven Cottage where there's been another goal. Aaron Paul.
Fulham have retaken the lead. Fulham 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. This one, a corner popped in from the far corner and, a whole host of bodies in the middle, but the ball just brushing in off the back of Matt O'Reilly against his former club. The Brighton midfielder firing in an own goal. So it's Fulham 2, Brighton 1, 9 minutes to go.
And commentary continuing on Sports Extra and live second half commentary of Bournemouth Tottenham on the way here on 5 Live Sport. Now, England are looking to win their first overseas test series in 2 years when the second test against New Zealand begins in Wellington in about 50 minutes' time. Ben Stokes' side are 1-0 up after winning the first test in Christchurch by 8 wickets. And the BBC's chief cricket reporter, Stefan Schemmelt, is in Wellington. And Stefan, it feels like you've gone from one scenic ground to another scenic ground. Just describe Basin Reserve to us.
If you want to think about the Lords of New Zealand, Ellie, then the Basin Reserve is it. Dripping in history. 2 years ago, of course, it was that one-run win for New Zealand here on this ground. Brendan McCullum once made a triple century here. 1978, New Zealand's first test win over England, right in the middle of the city, actually built on a roundabout, and so all the traffic's going round. Mount Victoria away to our left, and spectators that have been queuing up since well before 9 o'clock this morning are just filling up the grass banks. After the Hagley Oval last week, which was a real treat, it's another treat to be here at the Basin Reserve.
Just remind us then of what happened in that game at Basin Reserve last time out, because England were 1-0 up in that series. And it was a real classic, wasn't it? And Ben Stokes has been talking about his memories of that game.
Yeah, one of the greatest test matches of all time that New Zealand won by one run. I had to remind myself, actually, that England declared in that game in the first innings 435 for 8. They bowled New Zealand out for 209 and forced a follow-on, and then were set 258 for victory. And can you remember the conclusion to that game? James Anderson shuffling out at number 11, belting Neil Wagner for 4. England needed 2 runs to win. Wagner bowled a bouncer that went over Anderson's head. If it had been called wide, as England thought it should have been, the scores would have been level, and then Anderson just gave a little catch down the leg side, and New Zealand had won by 1 run. England becoming only the 4th team in Test history to lose after enforcing the follow-on. It really was one of the greatest Test matches we've ever seen.
Yeah, England entertaining, whatever they do. Then an unchanged team for this game, as we've said. So Jacob Bethel stays at number 3. And how important is this for Zach Crawley today, this game?
Yeah, I just wonder what Zach Crawley's thinking, because we're going to have the toss in 20 minutes or so. I would expect that whoever wins the toss will have a bowl, even though the sun's poking out. There's plenty of grass on the pitch. So Crawley's going to get tested again by these New Zealand fast bowlers who've really got his number. He's had 17 innings in Test cricket against the Black Caps. Averages less than 10. Those skillful new ball bowlers wobbling the ball around, inviting the drive. Crawley likes to play that shot, brings the slips into play. It's not that Zach Crawley's place in this England team is in question, it's just that he struggles against this particular opponent. And so if he does get the chance to bat first this morning, he won't play any differently. It's just whether or not he can overcome that challenge.
And Chris Woakes had an excellent game at Christchurch. And, you know, I just wonder who you think is going to be the key from the England bowling point of view, because I was reading that actually it can be quite windy at Wellington.
Yeah, and that can be difficult for seamers, blowing them around in their run-up, also deciding which end to bowl at. Chris Wokes' struggles overseas are well documented. His wickets overseas average more than 51 runs compared to just under 22 at home. But he improved as the first test went on. Those 2 wickets in 2 balls, removing Kane Williamson and Tom Blundell when England was starting to look up against it. And Wokes is always really honest about how he feels his way into a series. He says he likes to have the miles in the legs, so you would expect him to keep improving to have the benefit of that first test last week. And again, this is the sort of ground where you feel it should suit him, in the same way that those New Zealand bowlers can get the ball wobbling around. Well, that's what Wokes does. So pitching the ball up, nipping the ball around off the seam, finding those bits of live grass. If England are bowling first this morning, then you think that should suit Wokes.
What about this New Zealand team? I'm sure they'll be desperate to bounce back after what happened at Christchurch. I imagine that quite a lot of catching practice will have gone on.
Well, they can't be any worse, can they?
No.
8 dropped catches in Christchurch, didn't bat very well either. And I was thinking, if England had put in that sort of performance, what sort of criticism would they have come in for last week? Look, New Zealand, off the back of that 3-0 win in India, they haven't become a bad team just because they had one bad performance in Christchurch. They're unchanged as well. So Tom Blundell, the wicket-keeper, who maybe is under a little bit of pressure, gets another go. And Tim Southey, who's on this retirement tour, the 3rd test at Hamilton, his home ground, will probably be the final test match of his career. He's backed again because he looked pretty innocuous once the ball got old last week. Like I said, you can't imagine that New Zealand are going to be any worse than they were in Christchurch. They will improve, and so that will provide a bigger challenge to England.
Thank you, Steph. Play due to get underway at 10 o'clock this evening UK time. I said 10 o'clock this morning because I'm kind of instinctively thinking that I'm watching a test match in real time. So 10 o'clock this evening. We'll have updates from Steph throughout the night, and you can follow live text commentary on the BBC Sport website and app. If you're not going to stay up all night, there'll be a TMS podcast available for you just after breakfast. Ball-by-ball commentary of Australia against India is on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds from 3:45 in the morning. And there's been another goal at Craven Cottage. Aaron Paul.
And this should be it. Fulham 3, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Alex Iwobi has his 2nd of the night, and he's worked ever so hard for it, taking the ball back to goal. He's had to hustle, he's had to bustle, but he's turned and just struck the ball so beautifully past Barbruggen from the edge of the area. It's a really, really good strike, but fantastic work from Iwobi. His 2nd of the evening, in fact. There you go, Ellie, I'm still with you. Fulham's 3rd, Fulham 3, Brighton 1.
I'm glad I'm not the only one struggling with time zones. Thank you very much indeed, Aaron. Let's head back to Bournemouth because the second half is underway between Bournemouth and Tottenham, and it's Tony Pulis alongside Jonathan Pearce.
Only just underway, Ellie, with Tottenham now trailing by a goal to nil, kicking from left to right in their basically sort of pale blue kit, the change kit in Bournemouth in the red and black striped shirts, black shorts, defending the goal away to my right hand side. Excuse me. Tottenham have possession. That's because you gave me a malted milk biscuit at half time, Tony Pulis.
I'm looking after you.
Tottenham have possession on the far side. They need to improve their possession stats in terms of passing. They're passing from that central midfield trio, 79 million worth, 72 caps between them, something like that. Sarr, Basuma, Maddison was really poor and defending poorly for the goal as well. What else has to change in this second half? What do Bournemouth need to do, for example, to hold this league?
The Bournemouth are fine. I think they're dropping in. They're playing really deep. They're allowing Tottenham to come on to them. What Tottenham have got to do, they've got to switch play a little bit quicker, isolate people, get one-on-one situations in the final third, and then get some quality into the box. The players that they've got out there, they've got some really, really good players, but they haven't shown it yet, John.
They have possession now with Udogie on the far side. I'll run through the teams just in a moment for you. To his right, 3 or 4 yards away, is Basuma, and then Gray, his first Premier League start for Tottenham, to Dragusin, who was guilty for losing his man Hussein for the first goal of the game, the only goal of the game. And Tottenham have possession on their far side now, rolling in off the line. Johnson had a very quiet half. The ball bounces up awkwardly for him, seemed to clatter in then to Evan Nielsen. No free kick given, and Tottenham look for Maddison through the middle. Bournemouth then, Kepa in goal, back for Smith, Hussein, Zabani and Kirkus. No Senesi tonight. Hussein comes in, Christian Adams holding midfield, Semenyo back in the side, Clive Tavernier and Evan Nielsen up top. 4-2-3-1 basically. Here's Maddison now for Tottenham, just left of centre, about 8-9 yards outside the Bournemouth penalty area, gets it back again, tries to spin it outside his foot, right in front of the Tottenham fans who weren't impressed really there with the lackadaisical pass. You can see one or two of them flapping their arms around in frustration over there. I can see a real old school lily white and navy blue scarf over there, long down towards the gentleman's midriff. See it?
I've got it.
Real old-fashioned one that is. Throwing on the far side, no half and half scarf that. Now Basuma for Tottenham plops the header forward, and it's cleared away by Kluivert for Bournemouth. And Dragusin's underneath this, worried by Evan Nielsen, could only head it down to Davis. Tottenham with Forster in goal, has had a decent game, one or two good saves. Gray, Dragusin, Davis and Udogie, the back four. Sarr and Basuma holding. Johnson, Maddison and Kulusevski, the supporting midfield players or wide players. And through the middle is Dominic Solanke. Free kick here for Tottenham, the wind beginning to pick up. It really poured with rain in the build-up to kick-off. The rain's held off for the last, say, half an hour, maybe even 40 minutes. And Tottenham Hotspur with this sweet and sour season trickling on, need to get something out of this game. 2 defeats in 7, 4 defeats in 14, but they're just not winning enough games. Win, lose, win, lose. Here's Dragusin. Straight ball up to Kulusevski, coming back towards the halfway line. Under control, finds Basuma, right-footed, arced, low pass, but he's given Solanke far too much to do, and a grimace on Dominic Solanke's face. He has fed off scraps today, hasn't he, Tony?
Yeah, he certainly has. I'm just looking at Tottenham when they get possession as well, and they've got to spread wider. They've got to really, really open this pitch up, because Bournemouth are quite happy just to sit there and defend. And like I said, they're a very, very fit, very organised team. If you look at Johnson now, I'd have Johnson a lot wider than what he is from on the opposite side of the pitch, John, just to open the game up, so they've got an opportunity and a chance to switch play and to get one-on-one situations in the final third.
Son remains on the Tottenham bench at the start of this second half. Tottenham substitutes Austin Reguilon, Bergvall Werner, Porro Spence, Will Lancashire and young Callum Osusese. And Forster under a little bit of pressure from Evan Nielsen. You could hear the Bournemouth fans just whoop as he went towards the ball.
Now switch play.
Now Kulusevski has it, centre circle. Tony saying switch. Johnson out to the left-hand side. 4 on the edge of the penalty. They've got numbers 4, but it was very slow getting out there. Johnson, centre midfield. Basuma has a go at goal, always rising, always over. Missed opportunity again. Did it deflect? It did deflect from Basuma. So it's going to be a corner kick. I think it's their 4th of the game. Kulusevski will take it. So let's have a look at how they line up for this. So no man marking in that Bournemouth defence, Tone.
No, they're man marking there, but they come short.
To Maddison. Now Gray, right-footed, looped across towards the far post, dipping under the bar. Kepa had to drop back just a couple of steps and bring the ball down, and he'll look to
it looks a bit windier out there than what we think it is, John.
See, look away to the right-hand side, that flag on the flagpole there, whipping around in the wind. Is that behind Bournemouth in the second half? It might be swirling around. Tottenham have possession then with Ben Davis in his last year of the contract to Basuma, who finds the left-hand touchline, and Johnson halfway inside the Bournemouth half.
See, all the space is out here, John, on the opposite side of the pitch. If you have a look at the opposite side of the pitch, I don't know why Gray's going in, to be honest, because the space is out here.
Gray is now left-hand side of the centre circle with a huge space out to Kulusevski, found by Dragusin's angle pass. Kulusevski, left foot tap pass into Maddison, little step over, and the touch off towards Johnson. Now they've got a chance to get a cross in here. Udogie arrives, and the cross is deflected up and over. That's probably their best move of the game.
Yeah, and all 2-touch and looking to play quickly as well. People passing and moving quickly as well. There's no backward square sidewards. They played forward and they ran forward.
Cut out just inside the near post it was by Zabani for the corner that Maddison will take. 5th of the game, so he'll take this right-footed. Will he arc it in? Left hand raised high with the armband on it. It's a signal to the 3 that are around the 6-yard area. In comes that cross. The goalkeeper might have been impeded there. The referee says no. He got a claw on it to get it away. Kepa under all sorts of pressure. Then Dragusin stumbles as he goes for the ball. and Tavernier will clear for Bournemouth, and the big counter is on as he balloons a clearance away 60 yards to Cliver on the right hand side, up through the gears here. He's lefty dogger behind him, that is pace. He's got support by Evan Nielsen. Cliver into the penalty area, shoots. Good save by Forster, but the opportunity was there to play square to Evan Nielsen.
You've got it. That's what he should have done. He should have got his head up. If plays it across the goal, the lad taps it in. It's an empty net, and I mean an empty net. It was a really, really poor decision by Clive.
What about the pace, Tony, though?
Well, again, Tottenham are caught on the break, John. There's one ball, and like I say, you play behind. They're in possession. The play behind possession is important, especially at the top level in all football, because teams counter-attack. They've got so much pace, and that's what Bournemouth are doing. Tottenham look so disorganised behind the ball, and Bournemouth are just relying on that breakaway. Time after time, John, they've caused problems.
Missing key men, Tottenham. Here's Davis advancing deep into Bournemouth territory, tried to play it through the edge of the box. It was blocked by Christie, who's had a good game. Now Tottenham on the left hand side, Johnson, Kulishevsky just outside the D, plumb dead centre to the right side of the penalty as Sarr has it. Bournemouth plenty of red and black shirts back in there. It's a bending low shot by Gray that goes straight at Kepa, but it is a shot at goal, and that's only the second one he's had to save, I think, which isn't good enough for a Tottenham side who came here in 8th place in the table, 6 points off the top 4. Bournemouth around the mid-table area. They've had a decent start, Bournemouth. Last 10 matches, 4 wins, 1 draw, 5 defeats, 15 goals scored, 15 goals conceded. Full time at Craven Cottage, Aaron Paul.
Fulham 3, Brighton 1, a brace from Alex Iwobi plus an own goal from Matt O'Reilly. Hand Fulham victory here, but they had to work hard for it. Brighton had their own chances. Adingra and Jean Pedro forcing good saves from Leno, while Believer scored on his return to starting 11. The win, though, takes Fulham 6th, a point behind Brighton. They've beaten the Seagulls by 3 goals to 1.
Disappointing for Brighton. They let the lead slip against Southampton on Friday. Now the ball is cleared away by Kepa. We now get the answer to the win, because it just caught the wind and dropped like a stone.
Yeah, Tottenham look as though they've got the wind.
They've got Son coming on as well. He's just getting ready to come on.
Look at the space out this side of the pitch, John.
On the far side, though, it's Johnson who gets the cross. There's acres of space on the right-hand side. As you were saying, Archie Gray, central position.
If he pulls out here, John, he's got so much space, it's frightening. I don't know why he's dragging himself across where all the bodies are.
Son will come on for Spurs any moment now. Wind picking up. You can hear it on the effects mics. Here come Bournemouth on the counter. Out wide to Kirkes. Dragoshin sprints across, get the cover in. Wasn't the best of passes from Tavernier. It was dropped just a little bit short. Didn't zip across the surface, and Tottenham have it trailing 1-0, and Basuma finds Dominic Solanke dropping in short. Down to his Kulishevsky, finding a little bit of space on this right hand side. In comes the low cross, and it's stabbed away back inside that Bournemouth penalty area by Tyler Adams. Corner ball. Kulishevsky will take it.
If you look at it, Tottenham have got a much bigger side than Bournemouth. Oh, they've played it short.
Maddison back to Kulishevsky from the short corner. Left-footed cross out towards the far post, and Davis was coming in, couldn't quite get a high enough leap on it, and the ball goes out of player with a bending cross, disappearing wide of that far post. 1-0 Bournemouth still lead. Here comes the substitution, and it will be Son coming on for Tottenham Hotspur, and the change will be made. For Sarr will go off and Son will come on. So it's an attacking player for a holding midfield player, and you'd imagine that Maddison might drop a little bit deeper now. Tony, what do you think?
I think Johnson's coming over to the right hand side. Son will play on the left hand side. Still Solanke up front. Maddison will play, like you say, they'll play him more as a 10, or they'll have 2 10s then.
Kulishevsky's in there with him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They'll play with 2 10s.
Well, the Tottenham fans greet the arrival of Son.
Basuma will just sit there now. He'll just sit in front of the 2 centre halves,
which might leave them more vulnerable to the counter. And they have looked so dangerous on the counter. Kepa gets it away, and the ball drops on the breeze, so Evan-Nilsson couldn't hold it up. And Bournemouth then hack long on the right-hand side, leading 1-0. I'm looking for Antoine Semenyo, who couldn't get beyond the second challenge, the second block challenge. So Maddison has it, and Semenyo just chipped him, just caught his foot. Well, he didn't. Or has he given a free kick here? Maddison, why is Maddison raging at the referee? He wants a yellow card. I think it was just an innocent coming together. But look at Ange Postecoglou, hands on the back of his head. Almost an anguish down below us. Tottenham make the first substitution then. Son takes it, and Tottenham on the attack here with Solanke. The ball broke down for Bournemouth. Solanke, Kulusevski, blocked by the goalkeeper, but not enough. And it's rattled into the back of the net by Son with his first touch, offside. And then the flag goes up for offside. Was it Son in the middle, or was it Kulusevski here on the right? Let's have a look at the replay. Solanke with the carry, Kulusevski on the outside. Is Son in the middle?
Yeah, he's in front of the ball.
Offside.
Good decision by the linesman.
That would have been some impact, Tony, for Son.
Yeah.
What you can't see, ladies and gentlemen, is our man to my right-hand side is drip feeding me malted milk biscuits.
Got to keep you going, John.
Well, our great pal Ian Dennis will be very amused the fact that you're trying to feed me biscuits. Ian Dennis normally feeds us liquid refreshment. He's a bad man, isn't he?
Oh, he's very bad.
You're dogging now for Tottenham deep inside his own half. 59 minutes gone. Finds Son, left-hand touchline. Another poor ball by Tottenham. They've been ragged really throughout here. And now Bournemouth on the counter. Evan-Nilsson, couple of step overs, edge of the penalty, a low shot, well dealt with by Force.
John, how many times have they counter-attacked with spare play, with Bournemouth having the spare players with lots of space to run at them? The game's opening up.
Chances coming thick and fast. Son on the drive. Ball bobbled as he tried to play it in. Does come into Maddison. There's a spin on the edge of the penalty area. On the edge of the 6-yard area. Shoots wide. Shoots wide.
I think Davis has done his hamstring at the back for Tottenham.
A little bit curious the way the ball came in and eventually found its way to Maddison. A little deflection, but he sponges on the corner of the 6-yard area. Oh, but that's just wide. That was close.
Oh. Yeah, I think Davis is out. I think he's chasing back on that counter-attack from Bournemouth. I think he's done his hamstring.
They just made a change, of course. Another defensive problem for Tottenham Hotspur. And they are beset by them at the moment, with Mickey van der Ven crucially being missed at the back with the hamstring. The last appearance was in October, and Christian Romero, his last appearance was on the 10th of November. Didn't come back from international duty from Argentina against Paraguay. Fit, had a toe problem. And now if Davis has to go off, they'll bring on Pedro Porro. And then you wonder...
Will Ndoggy go as a centre half then?
I've not seen him. I've seen him play left midfield.
Yeah.
But I've not seen him in there. But it won't be Gray, will it?
No.
And they'll make this change now. Ben Davis doesn't always get a good press, but this is a man who's played nearly 100 internationals, twice in the European Championship finals, and once the World Cup for his country. And off he goes. And on comes Porro. Wind really is beginning to pick up. Storm warnings, of course, coming in for parts of the UK this weekend.
Tell you what, Gray has gone in as a centre half.
Wow, well, I said he was a versatile player, but that's a bit of a risk. Let's have news of the toss in windy Wellington from Stefan Schemmelt.
New Zealand captain Tom Latham has won the toss and chosen to bowl first. That is the 17th successive time that a captain on this ground has won the toss and chosen to field. It means Zach Crawley gets an early look at the New Zealand bowling attack. England to bat first in Wellington.
Well, it's when they were with England, Graham Taylor's England, Wellington up on the hill, the game was played, and they brought out the World Frisbee champion at half-time, and a big hullabaloo about it. The wind was absolutely searing in. He threw this Frisbee, and it disappeared out towards is it the Arctic or the Antarctic down there? Anyway, you know what I mean. It was never seen again. Here's Kulishevsky on the edge of the penalty area, but blocked off there, and it'll be cleared away by Hussein. Here's how things have changed on that front. Tour of Australasia and New Zealand. They played in Australia. They played a couple of games in New Zealand, England. They played one in Malaysia, and I think there were 8 members of the press, radio, TV on that trip. How things have changed, eh? Good trip.
Different world now, John.
Now, Basuma, that's a decent attempted pass. He overstruck it as he tried to bend it quickly up towards Johnson.
I still think Johnson's playing too tight inside the pitch again, John.
Change for Bournemouth now.
Number 19, Justin Kluivert.
And Kluivert goes off. And Dango Ouattara comes on. Quite like for like, really.
I think Kluivert looks too happy there.
No, he doesn't. Lips pursed, takes off that wristband that he had on. And Dango Ouattara comes on. He comes on immediately to the left-hand side. Tavernier goes into the more central position where Kluivert was playing. And Bournemouth lead by a goal to 0. With 63 minutes gone. Here's Son with the captain's armband on now to Basuma, lengthens his stride, has a look. Passes out on the diagonal, 10 yards away to the right touchline, quickly on by Johnson. Porro in behind, low cross, and stabbed up and stabbed wide by Solanke off a deflection. It's a corner kick.
It's much better. Last couple of minutes have been much better from Tottenham. They've been playing quicker, they've been playing forward, and they've got bodies in the box. Much better.
Wouldn't be a surprise if Tottenham levelled here. Maddison will take the corner kick. Gray has gone forward from his new centre-half position. Goalkeeper got a good punch on it. Leather back in. Good save by the goalkeeper to deny a fine effort from Porro. He strikes a good ball, doesn't he, Pedro Porro?
Great strike. Good save again. Great strike.
Caught it on the half volley. Might have been a full fat volley, but he certainly caught it well. And it's a decent save, and it stays 1-0 Bournemouth. Here's Gray. Elegant player is Archie Gray, only 18 years of age. And Porro towards the right touchline, just a yard in from the touchline. It's only about 30-40 feet from us. Tries a little flick away from Hussein. How impressed have you been with Hussein and Zabani as the game has gone on?
Yeah, I thought they started a little bit slow and they looked a little bit vulnerable, but the two of them have done very well. I'm not sure about their socks around their ankles, mind. Centre-halves playing like that, John.
It is a modern vogue, isn't it? 1 or 2 players wear the socks down round the ankles. Parents must look on in horror. Here's one of the 2 centre-backs, chopped up by Hussein into the Tottenham half. Gray was underneath it. There's a first touch there, little header forward by Ouattara. And now Tavernier checks back on the left-hand side. He's had a decent game. Lays the ball forward on the angle. Evan Nielsen back here to the supporting run by Christie into the penalty area. Shoots and wide it goes. Suddenly the gates of the Tottenham defence open wide, and he sauntered through, and on the edge of the penalty area let go the shot, and he went wide of the post. Just flicked the bottom of the woodwork actually as we see the replay. And here he is again, and he's got beyond Udogie here, and Tottenham are flagging at the back into Evan Nielsen on the angle. Wide it goes. And from a brief period of Tottenham pressure, Bournemouth have come roaring back, and they've got the corner here.
Christie's done brilliant, and twice picking the ball up in the middle of the field, just running away from people, and 2 great opportunities. The game's open up, John.
Well, that must have been deflected, the Evan Nielsen. I don't think the goalkeeper got anything on it. It's going to be a corner kick on the right hand side. 5 live from the BBC. Bournemouth leading by a goal to 0. Fulham have already beaten Brighton by 3 goals to 1. There is that hiccup in Brighton's season now and again.
Oh, John, they've done fantastic.
Considering where they are as a football club as well and where they've come from.
That's a great story. Them, Brentford, Bournemouth. It's absolutely fantastic.
Going to be a corner here for Bournemouth. Left-footed into the penalty area. Who got a touch on that? I'm not too sure. It's a foul anyway given.
I think Semedo actually defended that quite well.
Free kick for Tottenham Hotspur. Why is Bissouma standing over that to take it? It's deeper than that anyway, back towards the 6-yard area. Forster's got the ball down on the edge of the 6-yard area. He could play it out wide here to Dragosins on the corner of the box, but he plays it into a player inside his own penalty area. Then it comes out to Dragosin. Why? Dragosins now under pressure as a consequence, as it was a little bit laboured back into Bissouma, and he chips down the right-hand touchline. Looks for the run of Porro, and the long-legged figure of Hussein comes across with his floppy fair fringe.
Well, he's not messed about with it, John. If he's got to go, he's made sure he's at the top of the stand.
He's very elastic looking, isn't he, the tall defender, gangling centre half. Kulishevsky on the edge of the penalty area. Dispossessed, and Bournemouth have been tigerish in the challenge, and that's a good challenge by Tyler Adams, who was then fouled, and it's a free kick for Bournemouth, who lead by a goal to 0. So unlucky with injuries. Tyler Adams was out until October with a back injury from the start of the season. It's his 4th start in a row. Concern down there in the Tottenham dugout, and Ange just stands, hands still crossed over his chest as he normally does. And now Evan Nilsson for Bournemouth pushes out towards the left-hand touchline. Utara's cross deflects off Porro. That's going to be a corner kick for Bournemouth, and it's almost as if they've gone with that little burst Tottenham. It's almost as if Bournemouth has said, "Is that the best you've got?"
Yeah, they've certainly picked up. Last 5 minutes, it's been 2-3 great opportunities for Bournemouth. Interesting this now, John, with the Davis going off. Let's have a look who Gray is picking up. I'm just trying to find him. Oh yeah, I've got him. Let's see how they defend this one.
Give me a corner kick then to Bournemouth on their left-hand side. Tavernier will take it, pushing and shoving in the 6-yard area there. Someone goes down. It's a header just wide. It's a good chance in there again for Bournemouth. Adams was in there, plenty of pushing and shoving, and the header went wide. Tottenham have not defended well, have they?
No, they've looked really, really poor out of possession.
Bissouma carries to the halfway line. Still 21 minutes to go. And it's going to be a throw here for Tottenham, and Donny Areola there.
Yeah, he's telling them to play past the Tottenham players. I think every time they've got a set-up and they've got runners in, they've caused Tottenham problems.
Applause from the man who's stood behind him. I think it's Tommy Alfick down there.
Yeah, Tommy.
Good player, big solid player.
Again, someone who's been right through the leagues with Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Fantastic job there.
Promoted 3 times in 6 years, up to the 2nd tier ever for the first time in 2012-13. Promoted to the Premier League in 14-15. Bit yo-yo, but now you sort of consider Bournemouth almost to be like an established team, certainly this season. Tavernier rolls inside. Christie, that's a lovely stroke pass to the far side of the penalty area, and the shot over by Semenyo. Should have counted, really, should have hit the target. Tottenham got a man down on this near side. It's Bissouma who's picked himself up, hand on his face. Another good opportunity that for Bournemouth to wrap the game.
Here we go.
They played out dangerously. Spurs! It's a chance for Bournemouth. It's in. It's stabbed in at close range. The goal will count. Horribly played out, short. Bournemouth pounce. I think it's Evan Nilsson who touches it in the end. And Tottenham has shot themselves in the foot.
Absolutely ridiculous. You know, that time after time after time, you see the goalkeeper playing straight passes into midfield. And again, I'd love to know how many goals are scored from the goalkeeper passing it out, and then it goes down the other end and they score, compared to the times the goalkeeper passes it out and people regain it and then score against them. It's happened again, John. It's crazy, really crazy.
Well, it's being checked. It's being checked for handball by Tyler Adams, I think, as the goalkeeper came to block Adams. The ball fizzed up. Did it hit him on the hand, or was it offside against Evan Nilsson? It's being checked anyway. Possible offside against Evan Nilsson. Oh, he's offside, look.
Yeah, but does it come off Tottenham player?
I think Tyler Adams closes in on the goalkeeper. It's a wretched ball out by the goalkeeper to his defensive player's been struck off. Won't count. Stays 1-0.
They're so lucky. I mean, so lucky.
Well, Son thought he'd scored with his first touch offside. Evan Nielsen thought he'd touched. But just to describe that to you, Forster threw it out to one of his own teammates coming back towards his penalty area with a Bournemouth player on his shoulder, tied around him, chased it down and forced it goalwards, and Evan Nielsen tapped it in, but he was deemed offside. And time we see, listening to Aaron's reports on Fulham Brighton, I think 2 of the Fulham goals were scored like that as well, seemed to me.
Well, Tottenham have got to get up this end of the pitch and start creating chances. They don't want to be messing about back there. John, when I was a young player, we were told to play as quickly as you can with quality to the forwards, because the forwards are the best players on the pitch, and get the ball to the best players on the pitch. People who can create, people who can score goals. Obviously when you've got great players like the top teams have, then you can take those chances. But, other teams, you play to your strengths. Not everybody can do it.
Forster is cleared to Christie. Christie arced it forward, looking for Evan Nielsen on the penalty area, but the ball just bent away, and Tottenham can clear through Archie Gray, but they are error-strewn at the back, Tottenham. Yes, missing too many players, but missing too much quality in what they do as well. Well,
like I say, you don't want to go over the top with it, but they got to play. They've got Son now, they've got Johnson, they've got people up front who can create and score goals. And then the goalkeeper's playing short passes and taking chances in the final third, where, as you said, John, they're not the strongest. They've got loads of injuries. You don't want to be messing about with it back there.
If you did make repeated errors as a young player, who would have been the manager there? Bill Dodge and Bobby Campbell down at Bristol Rovers?
You wouldn't play.
Bert Tan, who was it when he first went?
Meggie.
Gary Megson. Don Megson.
Yeah, all them.
I thought you were Bert Tan.
Colin Dobson.
I thought Bert, because you were that old. I thought
Bert Tan.
Now it's Bournemouth with another chance. Tavernier from outside the penalty area. This time let's fly, and it's wide. Are these missed chances going to come back to haunt them on 5 Live? Because that's 4 in the last 5 minutes. They should be putting some of these away. And you wouldn't trust this makeshift Tottenham defence. It is makeshift. Let's say that. You've got Archie Gray playing as a centre-back. You've got Dragusin, who's playing with no confidence. And it's Bournemouth in possession, leading 1-0 inside their own half here, with Zabani quickly up to Semenyo, who's come from an offside position. The referee flagged. The referee says go on. Archie Gray plants a pass to the halfway line. Maddison on the far side from us, left-hand side, and then towards Basuma. Udogie stumbles because he was just clipped by Semenyo. Free kick, rolled quickly to Maddison. Maddison into Son. Son trying to take on his man. Goes wide again. Good tracking back by Semenyo. Went to ground, won it back. Son took a tumble. There's no question of it being a foul. Semenyo clears, halfway line. Dragusin, Tottenham losing by a goal to 0. Straight pass up towards Kulusevski, facing back into his own half, easily picked off there.
3 against 2, John.
It's Utara, and they've got a 3-on-2, as Tony was saying. Utara with the step overs go wide of Dragusin, who in the end just got back enough strongly to put him off, and the shot is angled wide.
Substitution for the Cherries with Las Vegas. Show your appreciation, please.
They're going to make another change here. Ryan Christie goes off. What a good game he's played, and Lewis Cook is going to come on.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. The midfield players, the amount of work they put in, John, is just, like I say, they're a team, and they are a team. Everybody works so hard together. You had Semedo back there, then clearing that ball on the edge of his own box, and then a couple of minutes later, he's up there crossing and getting balls into the box for Bournemouth to take chances, or to get opportunities and chances to score.
Whatever industry you're in, you have to work and then work again to be successful, and they've worked harder, I think, in this game. I don't know if you agree, Tone. Anyway, here's Tavernier for Bournemouth.
Well, they brought Cook on, and he'll do exactly the same.
Utara, left-hand touchline, orange boots, wearing gloves. Adams, short sleeve. They make him have turnstile in Wapping, New York State. Here he is again. Out wide towards, this is Tavernier rather, out wide towards Utara. Utara to take on his man. Takes on Porro, beats him, low cross into the penalty area, and he'll be cleared away by Tottenham, but they are creaking every time Bournemouth attack at them. Danger signs are flashing for them. Fresh pair of legs in that midfield area as well, with Lewis Cook on, will help. And there are 12 and a half minutes to go on 5 Live. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been a really, really good game. Bournemouth have done fantastic. They've played some really, really good football on the counter-attack. You know, it's really been an interesting game to watch, to be honest, John.
And football, of course, doesn't just stop here. All across the weekend we have games for you on 5 Live. And throw to be taken by Porro. Forward then to Solanke. Solanke advancing into the Bournemouth half, runs into trouble. Kirkes gets the block challenge in, but that's a free kick for the foul on Maddison. And remind you that Fulham against Arsenal, Craven Cottage on Sunday, and Tottenham against Chelsea at 4:30. 2 big London derbies coming up for you on Sunday. On Saturday, our commentary comes from Sellers, Palace against Manchester City at 5:30. We'll be crossing to Old Trafford for Manchester United against Nottingham Forest. Ian Dennis might be at one of those. I don't know, Tom, if he you know.
I haven't seen him for years. How's he looking?
Is he working these days? Here's Maddison with a low ball into the penalty area, and the spin was in there. The shot from Johnson came to nothing. The follow-up from Basuma went wide. Wouldn't count it anyway because an offside flag is raised. And 2 more Tottenham substitutes up and coming now. And Maddison is one of the players who goes off for Tottenham. Lucas Bergvall is going to come on. And Basuma's gone off as well for Spurs. So 2 changes. Who's the other player that came on? I didn't see who was the other one who came on for them, but anyway.
The young Swedish lad.
Yeah, Bergvall has come on. They've made a couple of changes here now, Spurs. And Werner's come on as well on that far side.
Werner will play on the left-hand side. He's got good pace, Werner.
Bergvall just brought in at the start of this season. Bergvall chases off after the racing figure on that far side of Semenyo, who gets to the dead ball line, pulls the cross back in. It's another huge Bournemouth chance, and this time it flies over from Tavernier. They really could rue these missed opportunities. They should have put the game up to bed by now. They could have had 3 or 4.
Yeah, he's really stepped into this. I think he could just leave that, hit his foot. It'd be enough. There was enough pace on the ball for it to go in the back of the net if he connected properly.
Here's Kulishevsky. Poor game from him today, really. Bergvall chases off after it for Spurs to try and win it back. But it's Tavernier who comes out with the ball, tries to nutmeg Udogie. Son back in the centre circle, trying to pick up some sort of possession and play. Finds Kulishevsky, right corner of the penalty area. Bournemouth already with 7 defenders back in there now. Tottenham building slowly, trailing by a goal to 0. 10 minutes to go on 5 Live from the BBC. Werner on that left-hand side, orange boots on, gloves on, fair hair, German international, into the edge of the penalty area. Gave Solanke work to do. That really has been a feature of the game. They've given him so that he's had to work so hard for anything, Solanke, on his return to the vitality. Going to be a throw for Spurs. Udogie takes it. Kulishevsky on the edge of the penalty, tries to hold it up, but no, easily dispossessed by Tavernier.
Look at him running forward again.
Kirkes. Utara on this left-hand side. Dragusin comes across and makes the block challenge throw in. And Andoni Iraola wants to roll the ball quickly and instead gives it to Kirkes, who ponders before taking this throw in. No need to take any risks now for Bournemouth. They'll be pig sick, Tony, if they don't win this from here.
Yeah. Tottenham started well, John, this second half, like they did first half, without creating too many opportunities. But then from then on in, like I say, every time there's been a turnover, there's been space for Bournemouth to break into.
Damp night in Wiltshire. Wind blowing. Sun always shines down here.
Oh, shines on the righteous, John.
Yeah, well, there's your answer, isn't it? Bournemouth on the attack on the right side. Lovely ball played to the edge of the penalty. It's a chance for them now. Evan Nielsen sets it up. Is there one pass too many? It is. Utara, right foot. Can he get the shot away? Second time it's over. Well, they were queuing up in there. They were queuing up. Tottenham were bedraggled. They couldn't get a ball on the ball, a boot on the ball. They didn't want to engage, and Bournemouth were almost waltzing through, Tony.
Yes, 2 or 3 of them could have taken the opportunity to shoot there, and in the end, you know, from that distance out, you just got to concentrate on hitting the target.
Utara lifts it over, and Andoni Iraola moves back, puts his hands on his head. Now Bergvall for Spurs. Right-footed ball on the angle. Werner, left-hand side of the penalty area. Inside the penalty area now. Goes on the outside of Smith. Oh, there was a cross shot or across. It's overcooked anyway. And it's into the stand behind the goal away to our right-hand side. Bournemouth still lead by a 0-0 with 7 to go.
Yeah, just that one goal, John. Like you say, one breakaway or one mistake could cost them 3 points here. And they really, really deserve to get the 3 points.
But tremendously hard. And will that figure I told you about in the first half come back to haunt Spurs? Haven't won any of their 14, their last 14 away games in the Premier League when they've conceded. But they normally score. I mean, they've scored in 23 of their most recent 24 games outside of London. As Bournemouth clear from the goalkeeper up to Semenyo. Free kick given against him for holding back on Udogie. Taken quickly then for Tottenham Hotspur.
Again, why Johnson isn't out here with his feet on the touchline and stretching things. You know, they've got to open up that back four.
Going to be a couple of changes for Bournemouth.
Evan Nielsen's worked his socks off, John. He's looked a real threat. He's got good pace, never gives anything up.
And Tavernier's going off as well.
Yeah, I had Tav at Middlesbrough. He's a whole-hearted player. He's a typical. I think he fits. He certainly fits in here because of his work rate, because of his effort and determination.
Well, Billing
and he
comes
can
on.
play. And he can play.
Billing comes on for Tavernier, and Enis Unal replaces Evan Nielsen. Hasn't scored this season. Last goal came against April, and Brooks is on as well. So 3 changes for Bournemouth.
Semedo coming on.
Off goes Antoine Semenyo, and those are the 3 changes. David Brooks, who has fought and beaten Hodgkin lymphoma. Extraordinary story. The 7th game of the season at the 1 league start. Billing, he's not really featured a great deal this season. Only 37 minutes of league football, 3 rolls from the bench. He tries to close down now on young Bergvall. Bergvall, the Swedish international. Young player, only 18 years of age. Advances, but it's Kuliszewski on the ball. He's been poor, he's given it away there, Billing.
Yeah, I like him as well. I think he's a real good player, but he's been poor tonight.
Too many of the Tottenham players have. All credit to Bournemouth though. And here's Brooks away on the far side from us, the Bournemouth right hand side between the penalty area and the far touchline. Jinks to the dead ball line. Cross deflected, corner ball for Bournemouth while they maintain possession and the sands of time slip away. Tottenham are heading for a defeat.
Yeah, they'll be taking their time here as well. They won't be rushing this one.
Going to beat Brighton 3-1 earlier on. So this is the last of the midweek fixtures to be completed. Been some stories this week. This would be another. If Bournemouth could get a second, it would be a deserved second from the corner kick. The 2 centre-halves are up. There's Zabani on the edge of the 6-yard area. Husseini's in at the near post, now backs away from it. That's a decent header out. Billing plops it back in again, and Utara heads over. And not too sure whether that was given offside, you know.
Did the linesman put his flag up in the end?
No, he just signalled for a goal kick. He's a yard and a half off, isn't he? Oh, that's another terrible ball out. Awful ball out by Dragusin, and forced to save Tottenham again to deny Enis Unal. Another ball played out from defence poorly. Utara with a cross back in the middle. overstruck and away through, and Tottenham will try and clear it away. How haphazard is that at the back?
I just don't see it, John. I just don't see it.
You can't do it, don't do it.
Brilliant from Son then.
Turned away on the far side. Now advances in the Bournemouth half. Didn't get a shout though that Cook was the man on, and Bournemouth will clear it away. Just basics. Basics are lacking here. It has been a lacklustre Tottenham performance, and Brooks has it on the Bournemouth right hand side. Utara was in the middle and in, but Dragusin got the block when the pass was eventually attempted, and it really has been so stretched this second half. The pace has been unrelenting. 2.5 to go. Can Tottenham prize an equaliser from a game from which they don't really deserve a point? Here's Kulishevsky, left-footed cross into the middle, half-headed away. Son, is he the man to rescue them? On the edge of the penalty area, brilliantly closed in there by Adams, who's got through his work well, and the chance, half chance as it was, is gone. Gray for Tottenham. Now here's young Bergvall. It is a work in progress for Tottenham, bringing the youngsters in, long-term plan, but will the coach get long enough to implement his plans? Here's Werner on the left side of the penalty area, swaps passes over there. It was not a good return to him really, and the ball is cleared away. Tottenham have possession back again, won there by young Gray. Here's Lucas Bergvall to the left hand side, who doggies across there.
Loads of space out here again, John.
On the right, they just haven't seen it and used it, have they? Here's Porro. Eventually it comes right. No, it doesn't. He goes narrow again. Billing blocks. Billing clears. Utara has it. Bournemouth have a 2-on-2. Enesu now through the middle. Bergvall trying to get back. Utara 10-15 yards inside the Tottenham half. Couple of step overs. Takes over Dragusin. Off the ball. He faded, leaning away from it, and shot well wide.
I don't know how many times the players broken down, and Bournemouth have played 1 or 2 passes, and they've got 1-on-1s, 2 against 2s against Tottenham's defence.
Well, I reckon they've had really,
4 or 5.
If not more than that, over the whole 90 minutes. Really good chances. Johnson for Tottenham Hotspur. What a quiet game he's had. Back to Dragusin. Dragusin, straight ball into Kulishevsky with a defender on his shoulder, and he wins it cleanly and easily. Lewis Cook will head for the corner in the dying 20 seconds of the 90. He had Enesunel on the far side, but decided there that discretion should be the upper thing in his mind, and Bournemouth hold possession. Well, they don't, because Billing's giving it away. We'll see how much stoppage time we have now on 5 Live. Bournemouth leading by this 1 goal to 0. 6 minutes still to go for Tottenham to get something out of the game. But Billing now for Bournemouth chips out towards the far side. He's given David Brooks such a gallop to get over there, because Udogie had 20 yards on him. He still closes on Udogie and forces the ball behind for a goal kick.
Where'd they get 6 minutes from, John?
Well, I don't know. We've had the substitutions.
Yeah.
We've had 9 substitutions. And we've had the disallowed goal and the VAR.
That was done quite quickly, actually.
It was, yeah, done within 3 hours and 22 minutes. Here's Bergvall. No, it was done very quickly, and the officiating team has been good. Son, left hand side of the box for Spurs. Offside.
Even there, they play the ball into Song, who's in Bournemouth's box, and his first touch is back away from goal. You know, they've been very, very poor in the final third. Well, they haven't done anything in the final third.
On their day, they can be very good. We saw that at Manchester City.
No, you know, like I say, before the program or before the game started, I've watched them, and they've been really exciting in some of the games I've seen. Really, really good. But I now know what people talk about them being Jekyll or Hyde. You know, they've been really, really poor tonight.
They blew West Ham away, didn't they? They won so convincingly at Manchester. Blew Villa away at home.
Yeah.
Won that fantastic performance at Manchester City. But today they've been really, really below par. Billing for Bournemouth, advancing on the far side into the penalty area. Boza's way inside the box, plays it square. Little layoff there by Enesu now. then laid wide by Adams. Utara between the 6-yard box and the edge of the penalty. Back it comes. Adams with a shot blocked by Bergvall. Bournemouth fans, I think, optimistically called for a penalty for handball. Don't think it was. And Utara has kept it in from a chopped ball out wide into the box by Hussein. Tottenham simply switched off into the box. Here comes Kirkes, blocked to the near post by Forster. And Forster screams at the assistant on the far side. He wants a decision that didn't come moments ago.
Yeah.
He got down there. Well, Bergvall, we're looking again at the call for handball. Don't think it was, do you, Tone?
No, not at all.
He was turning away from it, Bergvall. His arm was down by his side, hit the bottom of his elbow. But his hand was by his side. I think the referee's been good today, and his 2 assistants and the VAR, John Brooks, have all done well. Well, we've had how many minutes of stoppage time? 2.5. Bournemouth still leading by a goal to 0. Billing out wide to the left-hand touchline. It's nudged back up the line then to Kirk. Steadies himself. Left-footed high hoist cross into the middle. Unal with the header gently saved by the goalkeeper. Didn't have really much power on the header at all. It was easily dealt with. And now Tottenham throw out to Porro down the line. Little touch on here by Werner, who's come to this near side. Kulishevsky. So you've got Solanke in the middle, being joined in there now by Johnson. Son holding deep, cross into the middle, headed away, and well dealt with by Hussein. Son was lurking in a deeper position and he wasn't seen. Disjointed at best, Tottenham muddled at worst.
And you'll be really disappointed with the performance tonight, and disappointed with quite a few of the players as well.
But what about Bournemouth?
No, they do what they do. You know, they're no different. Every week you'll see them, they'll drop deep, they'll defend deep, they'll throw their lives in front of everything to stop the ball going in their net. And when they get it, they get that one set up and they're off. You know, they play forward, John, they run forward. You've seen it tonight. How many times? They don't overplay. They just play, they get set-ups and they get runners, and they've got such good legs in the team. They do go up and down the pitch continuously for 90-odd minutes. Well, it's going to be 96 minutes today.
Bergvall. Billing won the ball back fair and square. Adams got through his workload tonight into the centre circle. Unal couldn't hold it up, and roars of disapproval from the Bournemouth fans as he tries to haul back on his man Udogie. And Tottenham now, Kulishevsky down the right-hand side. In comes the cross. Flick forward by Solanke on the spin, and wide it went. Just a few ironic cheers for Solanke, but really they've been good to him on his return to the Vitality, the Bournemouth fans.
Yeah, they should do. They should be as well. He did really well for him last year, and he's made the club a hell of a lot of money.
Between 55 and 65 million it will be in the end, if all goes well for him. But he's had nothing to deal with today, really. He's had one header wide, shot over from difficult position, really. And it's going to be a goal kick that will be taken by Kepa. He's had 3 saves to make in the 95 minutes we've been playing. Time is precious for Tottenham now. Billing almost stooped to head beyond Bergvall. And it's Unal being trapped by Gray. Gray won it back again. Son dropping deep to Forage, finds Kulishevsky, advances 20 yards, slightly in from the right-hand touchline, drops the ball at the feet of Johnson. He's Porro with the cross. It's angled away by Smith, who's been steady Eddie at the back for Bournemouth, as he so often is. Tottenham lob it into the penalty area, and Kirkes will let the ball go out of play for a goal kick, and that should be it, I think. That should be it. And Andoni Iraola is already applauding down there the effort from his team. The referee, Simon Hooper, one last little bit of advice for Kepa not to take time. And Ange Postecoglou rolls his tongue around the inside of his cheeks and looks pensive. And Tottenham here will be beaten by Bournemouth. The referee has signalled through the assistants this will be it. Kepa clears it away. It drops in the halfway line. Billing rises. It's knocked on by Adams, and still we go on then. And still the lead is therefore fragile, but no longer. That's the full-time whistle. Tremendous win here for Bournemouth. They've taken another mighty scalp here at the Vitality, where they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Manchester City, and now they've beaten Tottenham Hotspur with a goal in the first half by the centre-half Dean Hussein in only his 3rd league start for the club. And Tottenham out of sorts, out of form here tonight, and the manager cuts a pensive figure. Bournemouth 1, Tottenham 0.
Well, Bournemouth have played like a team. Tottenham have played like a group of individuals who have not played individually very well.
Disappointment for Tottenham, Ellie. Disappointment for Tottenham fans. One week they're up, the next week they're low. And I'm afraid this was a low night for them. All credit, though. And all credit is deserved for Bournemouth.
John. Yeah.
All credit.
You've got to say, Tony, that Bournemouth could have had 4 goals, should have had 3 or 4 goals.
Well, like John was saying, you worry as a manager. You sat on the side, and you've created so many opportunities and dominated the best chances during the game. But it's still only 1-0, and one mistake could cost you two points. But they've deserved this victory, and as I say, Bournemouth have played the way they usually play and have normally played. They're a team. Everybody works together up and down the pitch. They don't give you an inch. Tottenham have played like a group of individuals, and that group of individuals, most of them have not hit anywhere near their own form.
I've been watching all the messages on the live text coming through from frustrated Spurs fans, particularly this one from Steve said, Postecoglou was widely praised at the start of his Spurs tenure for giving the club an identity. Here we are midway through his second season in charge, and I no longer have a clue what that identity is. What do you make of that?
Well, I think you've got to be careful, because there's a lot of players missing for Tottenham and a lot of important players. Again, another thing that's really stood out tonight for me. They didn't seem as though they had any leaders on the pitch. There was no one actually organising things. I kept saying they looked very vulnerable when they were in possession, when it broke down. And Bournemouth created most of their chances on the counter-attack. And there was no one in the Tottenham team that was actually grabbing all the players and actually putting them in positions to make them strong. You attack and they attack, you attack, they attack. It shouldn't be like that. You attack, it breaks down, you attack again. If you position your players properly, you don't get counter-attacked on. Tonight, it was nearly every occasion that Bournemouth won the ball. A number of times it was 2 against 2s or 3 against 2. It was absolutely frightening. And if they're going to watch a video of this game, then it's very, very, very poor.
Yeah, I'm Jonathan, looking at the fixtures coming up as well. So they've got Chelsea on Sunday, huge game in the Europa League against Rangers the following Thursday, away to Southampton, then they're at home to Man United and Liverpool. Man United in the League Cup, and then Liverpool back in the Premier League. It's a relentless schedule, isn't it? And it doesn't get easier.
No, it doesn't. And we mentioned the absentees. I think Van der Ven's a huge miss for them. Kari, the goalkeeper, is he top-notch? Isn't he top-notch? But he's missing. He gives them a bit of authority back there. Romero is a big player for them. He can be risky in a challenge, of course. We know. I think they're missing Bentancur. Bentancur can be so influential in these. On that same match ban for the inappropriate comments he made about Son. But you have to look at the players who are here, Ellie. Big players they've got out there, expensive players who didn't play very well at all. And they were second best here in major areas against the Bournemouth side, who thoroughly deserved the victory.
Absolutely, full credit to Bournemouth, who are 9th in the Premier League now on 21 points. Spurs 10th on 20 points after that defeat on the South Coast. A little bit earlier on,